Alright, shalom, shalom. My internet keep going out. So for the people that don't know, we have Bible class tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the app Zoom. And upon that app, Mr. Bell, he leads the class. He go through great information, and then you can ask questions and etc. etc. So I don't know why Facebook don't like me no more. It cuts me off a little bit, but while I'm going through it, let's keep going on and let's see before Facebook cut me back off again. Let's see. Are they teaching you right? Yes, indeed. So I have demonstrated through a dialogue how we can no longer be under the Mosaic covenant if we're going to believe Christ and we're going to believe his prophecy. So my question to all would be, do you actually think that these people that you're listening to, you listen to their videos and you're on their Facebook, you're on their YouTube, do you actually think these people actually put in the work in order to be able to lead people to the Most High? And that was my problem when I first came into the truth. I was looking at, ISUPK, IUIC, GOCC, I looked at a little GMS stuff. They all pretty much say the same thing, just different ways. A little of the information is different, but, all in all, it's about the same. But my question would be, why come no one teaches prophecies? So we have in the book of Revelation, it says, the testimony of Christ is prophecy. So, and we know that John was in prison, and plus a lot of people died for that testimony of Christ. And he was prophesying that, he was the Messiah, and he was coming to do all of the things that was spoken of the Messiah. But today, people will run you through the Torah like it is nothing. They'll take you through the Torah, make sure you have all the rules down correctly, make sure you're doing every carnal aspect that you're supposed to be doing. But these people, these individuals, for some reason, they never want to touch on prophecy. And that's the main point. See, I love prophecy. I was infatuated with prophecy. That's why I went to a full preterist under the guise of Mr. William Bell. Understands prophecy good. And I always knew that prophecy was supposed to lead me to Christ. I always knew that. I knew in order to understand Christ in the Bible, I had to understand or read or at least know prophecy. So, I understand now why a lot of these people won't touch on prophecy. Because if they do touch on prophecy, it exposes a lot, a whole lot of falsehoods dealing within these doctrines. All right, let's go through one prophecy real fast. For me to say, I believe that Christ has returned for his second and final coming, right? I believe he returned 70 AD, like he said. But I get a lot of backlash for that, Why there's still evil in the world? Why come people are still dying? What about the resurrection? What about the 2/3, 1/3? What about the 144,000? So forth and so on. I get a lot of questions dealing with if Christ has already returned, what about all this extra stuff that the Bible spoke of? But my response is, man, go through the prophecy. You see, first of all, we have a covenant based on faith. This is a faith covenant where we are to believe that Christ did what he said he was going to do. And truthfully, we really don't need any proof if you're going to believe on Christ. I mean, if you really believe on Christ like you say you do you really need any proof that Christ did what he said he was going to do? Or do you want to test it? Now, me personally, I don't need any proof, but I love being able to find it just to substantiate that Christ meant what he said. So now, let's go through it. First thing first, let's touch upon the battle of Armageddon. That battle that everybody knows is supposed to happen at the time of the end, right? The time of the end where all nations was expected to surround Jerusalem. And while they surround Jerusalem, the Most High is supposed to come and destroy all the nations, and only righteous people are supposed to be left. That's prophecy. So what do we see a problem with that today? What's the first problem we have with that today? Well, where is Jerusalem? And where are the people supposed to be gathered at inside of Jerusalem? Because last time I checked, Jerusalem has not been rebuilt like it was or how it looked in the first century. No temple, no glory land, just a bunch of dirt and converts in Jerusalem right now. So something great would have to happen in order for the ambiance of that prophecy to be about today's time or in the future. But anyway, let's just go through prophecy. So this is where I would like to start. We have a prophecy about an army circling Jerusalem in the so-called battle called Armageddon. So what we do first is we gotta search scripture on every end time or time of the end subject that we can find, because every time of the end subject has to have things in common because they're all about the same subject. So what I would do first, I would go to, let's say, Daniel chapter 2, because we know Daniel 2, the vision that King Nebuchadnezzar had, he had a vision about all of the world powers that were supposed to be in rulership before the coming of that rock. And that rock was supposed to destroy every kingdom and bring in the new kingdom, right? So we know, hold on y'all, we know that that's supposed to occur. So as we venture to Daniel 2, we read King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. We go through the different elements of the statue. We have a Babylon element, we have a Medo-Persia element, we have a Grecian element, then we have a Roman element, then we have a iron, which still got to represent Rome, and then we have a clay, which represents, we'll say what it represents in a minute. Some people want to make it represent the EU or whomever else. But anyway, We know that during Rome's time, a rock is supposed to come and it's supposed to smite Rome and destroy everything that Rome and other cultures stand for, and the kingdom is supposed to come, right? So we have more of a time period to look for. So if you take, we know now that Rome was destroyed, 476 AD? So whatever this rock hits the statue and destroys and breaks Rome, it can be no longer or no later than 476 AD. Once again, it could be no later than 476 AD. So that prophecy about the new kingdom coming on earth, it cannot go further than 476 AD. So we are in year 2019. So it cannot be about our time because it doesn't fit the parameters of when it had to, or the destruction of the Roman Empire. Now we're talking about the Roman Empire. Roman Catholic Church or the Vatican's is not the Roman Empire, okay? It's a branch off of their religious, social, economical society. But it's not the Caesar Roman Empire who was over the habitable earth and all of that. It's not that Roman Empire. If it's anything, it will be a different Roman today. So, the prophecy of the kingdom reaching earth cannot go past 476 AD. So by default, that last battle in Revelation, the Battle of Armageddon, it cannot happen past 476 AD. So now, Shalom, wifey, how you doing? How you doing, wifey? I'm just breaking down some of this information. So now, that Armageddon war had to happen at least 1,500 years ago by default. So now, let's keep going. So now, we have more of a timeline we could put it in, which it cannot go past 476 AD. So now, where do we go again? We go to another prophecy, because I want to stick with the prophecy at the time of the end dealing with the war or dealing with the army. So now we have a prophecy in Joel. In Joel's prophecy, a war or an army or a nation is supposed to come up against Jerusalem